I'd like to call the
as well.
Tuesday, December 7th, Board of Public Works and Safety meeting to order. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Bert Cook.
Put it back on.
Approval of minutes. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Public comment. Do we have anything on social media? Do we have anybody from the public here? Special thanks to Terry Minnick for increasing our weight during the holiday season. Thank you for the extra special donuts and gifts waiting for all of us. Okay, we'll move clerk treasurer Parthun, claims approval.
Okay, we have payroll for November 24th, 2021 in the amount of $402,529.58.
I move we approve the payroll.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
We have a special pay for a police fitness bonus that was left off of the list for $355.08.
I move we approve the special pay.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
We have water claims in the amount of $314,750.81, which is less a claim, a voucher for $1,482. That was voided yesterday and will be on the next claim docket under the fire department.
I move we approve the water claims.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
I was going to get a question from the mayor. Sewage claims in the amount of $333,874.65.
Move we approve the sewage claims.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
And then civil city claims in the amount of $671,713.56. This includes a bond payment.
I move we approve the civil city claims.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0, and it's always good to see public safety dollars for the fitness test, so thank you both.
And I'm going to keep going, is that okay?
Please.
And then we have a lease renewal letter. We don't have the actual leases, but in front of you is a lease letter. We've got 3 leased vehicles in code enforcement and engineering, and we're seeking board approval to renew the leases for another 2-year period at the same dollar amount that they previously were. So you've got the letter in front of you from the existing leased vehicles. We would like to do the exchange with LaPorte Chrysler this December, and then the payment, which has already been budgeted for next year and will stay the same, will be paid in January.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion?
I assume the vehicles are all in good order,
Yep.
operating condition. Okay.
And we'll get the leases after the fact?
Yes, we'll get the leases. I'll bring for you to sign after the fact, yes.
Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Anything else, Clerk Treasurer Parthun?
That's all I have. Thank you.
Dana, anything from you today?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm positive.
Okay. Department head brief direct reports. Bert Cook, Economic Development. I'm sorry? I have no report this morning. Jen Knoll, Human Resources.
We're just catching up after open enrollment. Fitness reimbursements are due December 30th, as well as follow-ups for employee wellness screenings in order for employees to get the premium discount incentive. That's all we've got.
Thank you. Jess Bruder, Communications.
This is for you.
Good morning. I have some exciting news this morning. Our trademark for Live in the Lake Life was approved by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. So that mark is officially ours and cannot be used by anybody else. We are in the process of getting the tagline files updated to include the registered symbol. But yeah, that's exciting news. The Cookie Walk is this Saturday. You can visit our Facebook page or liveinthelakelike.org to learn more and find a location to purchase a tin. Also, we still have holiday merchandise available for sale. You can find it at liveinthelakelike.org. Click on Lake Shop. I think they added, in addition to the long sleeve t-shirts, we've got hoodies now and coffee mugs. So they make great Christmas gifts.
And Jess, could you move the mic closer? I think if you can hear, maybe I'm struggling this morning. I don't know. Okay, Jeff Batchelor, Code Enforcement.
I like the ornaments on the logo for the,
Good morning. We're right around 4,700 violations for the year. We just keep trucking along, so it's going very good.
And I'd also like to say 1108 Clay Street, because you would not allow individuals to stay in that house until the electric and other things were upgraded by the new owners. Lives were saved, people were not injured, and that's the standard we've set. Based on previous owners not doing what's necessary. And that's another example why code enforcement is so important. And also thanks to the fire department, all out 11 firefighters to fight that fire. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, that was working with the new owners and that stuff, and they accepted responsibility and wanted to fix it and just not throw somebody in there too. So I wanted to recognize them too, because they understood the problems that was going on with the house too.
That's a leased property?
Huh?
That's a leased property?
Yeah, it was a rental property, but there was nobody in it at the time.
Mark Schreiber, Park Department.
Morning. Just want to remind everybody of a couple events we have coming up at the Civic Auditorium on January 6th through 8th. We have the U.S. Marines NIBC La Porte Invitational. This is very exciting. We've got 5 of the top 8 teams from around the country coming in. 8-team event, 22 of the top 100 seniors in the country playing in that, so it's a very exciting high school event. Tickets are available at civictix.eventbrite.com. We also have our downtown ice rink that we'll have from January 21st through February 21st. We'll have details out on that and the ability to sign up for skate time coming up later in December. And then also we have our Soldiers Memorial Park ice rink up right now, our traditional one that we've had at the park office. Just remind everybody not to get on that till it's opened up so we don't get on the ice before it's ready. Unfortunately, we've got some, well, depending on which side of winter you land on, fortunately or unfortunately, we have some warmer weather coming up later this week into next week. So the ice won't be ready for a while, but that will be available to the public as well. Thank you.
David, do you have anything from planning?
Just working with the Business Improvement District, getting the electrical outlets fixed. Looks like all of them are ready to go. And then I got Board of Zoning Appeals next week. Got one variant or special exception use for used car sales and light mechanic shop. So,
Are all lights are repaired at this point?
yeah, that's what it looked like from when I drove around just briefly. I think some of the side streets may have had 1 or 2, but other than that, I think the main street is looking good, and State Street and Jefferson.
If we can get an update that it is 100%
Yeah, I think
today?
there's, yeah,
Okay.
check some of the side streets. But,
Thank you.
yeah.
Tim Warner, Water.
Thank you. Monday morning, Peerless Midwest started to break down our EPA well that we talked about last Board of Works meeting. It's scheduled for a 5-day clean. That's a tank clean. So it'll be out of service for about a week and a half by the time we do the pump test and back tease test and everything. We did have an issue with the gen set, the standby generator at plant 2. A mouse got into the control panel, and when it went to exercise last week, once it turned off, we got an alarm through our SCADA. We went out there, and it's dead in the water. We can't even run it by hand, so we did get a standby rental there. That generator will also powers the 3 wells in that well field plus the plant. And I just wanted to make the board aware that it's very expensive. It's about $4,200 a month to rent that generator. We're waiting to see how long it's going to take to get that control panel with the microchip shortage right now. That's what we're hearing. It might be a little bit. So just so the public knows, we are down the generator, but we do have a rental on site. So if we have any problems, we'll be able to function with that standby unit. Next week I'm meeting with Lease Engineering to start putting a bid packet together for the new well field in Soldier Memorial Park. We finally did get all the tests back. They're all favorable. Looks good. So we will start that bid process, just putting out a standard bid for how we want the wells designed, and then we'll bring it in and send it out for a bid. One other note is we're going to be looking for a new dump truck. We have a 1988 International that we got from the street department a long time ago. When I first started at the water department, it had just been rebuilt for the 3rd time. It's got a lot of stress cracks in the frame. It's just not a safe vehicle to have on the road anymore, so we'll be starting that process to look for a new dump truck for the water department also. That's all I have this morning.
Tim, one of the things we've had a couple of people talk about, and we've said you're on top of it, but the pump station, making sure it's clean.
Yeah.
Can you just update?
Yeah, the property is clean. The dug well out there, the roof on that was cedar shake. It has fallen in. It's been cleaned up, just the framing still there. None of that is used. It's just an old dug well from the early or late 1800s. We have talked with several companies about getting it down. It's a very expensive project. The well field is secured. Nobody can get in there. The doors are all bolted shut, welded shut. I know it's an eyesore, and it's something that we're working on. Right now, we just, we have standards we have to follow too, so we will be addressing that situation hopefully in the spring.
And then you're meeting with engineering, setting up a meeting with engineering firms. As we've stated, we have ended the contract providing water to 39 North unless an upgrade has happened. We show that upgrade over $10 million. It's much more than just a water tower. And so you are moving forward.
Yes.
Discussions with those engineering.
We were trying to get a meeting set up this week. There's several different people involved. I was just speaking with Jerry about that before this meeting. Looks like that meeting is going to be next week. We were trying to get it scheduled this week. It's a crazy time to get that many people together right now. So we're working on it. I think that meeting will happen next week.
But we just want to reiterate, we want to make sure people up in 39 North, the Conservancy District, are safe. There's enough water flow for the fire department if a fire happens, which is not the current situation. There's over $10 million worth of upgrades necessary, and we believe we have some great ideas, thanks to our team, to upgrade that system, potentially in exchange for annexation of some sort to move forward on that.
Well, it's important to remember that, the water tower will help us with that stored water and fire flows, but at that point, it becomes a concern of turning that water over. They're really a low usage part of our system. They only average about 1.6 million gallons a month. Putting up a 500,000 gallon water tower, we'd have to turn that water over constantly to keep those chlorine residuals up. So, it's being able to put in pressure reducing valves to allow that water back into our system. That way we can constantly turn that water over so that water will remain safe for drinking up there. At this point, it's just not about fire flow. Once you have that stored water, it's about keeping that water safe for the public to drink.
But the infrastructure is in much need of updating.
Not only updated, but reinforced. another suction line, which is where the booster station would get the water from our system. Having a dual feed there wouldn't create the high velocities down Pine Lake Ave that we've talked about so much in the past. And just making sure that that system itself is redundant. That's what we need right now. Separating that system from our system with feeds and storage tanks.
And at that time of that infrastructure being put in place, it did not meet what the city was requiring.
No. So when 39 North came to the water department, we met with engineers. We had a study done, gave them recommendations, and we've talked about this before. They kind of cherry picked the plan, and that's where we're at. The goal for the 39 North Conservancy District was to get water to the people and up in that area, and that's been accomplished. So now it's building that system for future growth out there that they've already have outgrown that system. So it's time to move forward.
Jerry Jackson, wastewater.
Out in Monroe Manor, they've got sod down and the mailboxes up. That was a point of contention. People were, this time of year, you can get a lot of mail. I've had a discussion with Jess Bruder about neighborhood signage. That really wasn't part of the project, but it was something I wanted to do to just kind of make the neighborhood have a character, something particular its way. So we're talking about how that might happen. We've got on phosphorus removal, we've got our pre-construction meeting today, this morning. We'll receive bids to build the facility next week. And then at the next Board of Works meeting, I'll have a bid report and recommendation for that project.
Nick Minnick, Engineering.
Nothing today. Thank you.
Nick Otis, Legal. Mike Frey, Streets.
We're still in our first round of leaf pickup. They're over in the numbers and letters area. Then another crew's over by Andrew. As soon as they get done with that area, they're going out in South Haven, Romanor. And we'll finish going around clockwise around the city.
And the public, please remember, it's 2 weeks later because leaves didn't fall 2 weeks later, correct?
Right, yes.
And what happens if it snows?
We'll take care of the snow, then we'll go back picking up leaves after we get the roads taken care of.
Chief Breton, Police Department.
We're currently in the interview stage. We had 9 applicants out of our 14 that we passed on to interviews. Detective Bureau's doing backgrounds on 3 of them, but they're short because they have a homicide trial this week as well. Merit Commission's going to set up additional interviews. And we took possession of the drone, and I suspect the mayor intercepted our order because it came in orange. We didn't know it was going to be orange. But we do have that, and Sergeant Dragmeister's recruiting some of their officers. They'll go through the training and get FAA certified to fly it.
Wait till the stenciling is added to it.
What kind of stuff do you use that for? We use
missing persons. We can use it prior to search warrants, check traffic, about anything. The cameras on it are amazing. He took it up in our back lot, and it's amazing what it has. The infrared, and it also has the regular camera on it as well.
Chief, where are we at with numbers-wise with officers?
We're hiring for 5 right now.
5, okay.
We have 2 currently at PERF. They've had their physical psyche exam. They're just waiting for the approval. And then we have 3 more to send down. We have 1 retiring, so.
But you had the largest turnout for the fitness.
Right, we had 14 show up for the agility, which was thrown together in a week, which was amazing that we had that many. So we're getting the applicants, and this is a good group that we had to go through, a real good group.
Good to hear, thank you. Yeah.
Oh, Chief Snyder, Fire Department.
Yeah, the area has seen an increase in COVID cases, and we were not immune from that. But keep my fingers crossed, as of Sunday, we were back up to full staff. The individual we did have off with COVID is back. Hopefully we can keep that going through the holidays here. Speaking of the holidays, just public, keep in mind, this is the season when most home fires happen. The department will be putting out some information to help out the public to maybe be a little bit more vigilant with some things, because we would like to keep it safe for everybody throughout this whole season.
and whether our employees were encouraging as many employees to be vaccinated as possible. Same with the public. Those that have questions about receiving a vaccination, we can connect anybody at any time to have questions answered, to receive the vaccinations, to receive the boosters. Just call City Hall at 362-0151. And if you want to stay out of the hospital, if you want to stay out of life-threatening situations, the vaccine seems to do that. And it seems to be a simple ask, if not for yourself, for others. So we would highly encourage the vaccine, and we can help connect and direct people there. Okay, department heads, anybody that does not have business before the department or the board can now go enjoy your day. We will move to new business with the approval of the board. Would like to add an item that was not on our agenda. I would ask to request to close city offices this Friday, the 9th?
10th. Friday is the 10th.
10th, from 11 to 2, we have Christmas party.
Yes. It's all the city offices, not just City Hall, and it's for all the employees.
That's wonderful. What are you guys doing for the party, or?
We're eating.
Like
Then
it.
eating again.
And then eating again, yeah, that's what we're doing. Just getting together, just enjoying a luncheon with the employees.
That's great. I'll make a motion to approve closure.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Proposed 2022 Board of Works meeting schedule.
So the meeting schedule, you should have it in your packet, the proposed schedule, and it's, same day, first and third Tuesdays at 9 a.m. There's a couple exceptions because of Monday holidays.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. I can't believe we're talking about 2022 schedules. But with that,
20 days away.
all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Thank you, Annette. Or
Do you want her to do the appointments or talk about
do
the
you want to
appointments?
talk about the appointments while you're here?
If you have any questions, Board of Works has 2 appointments to make for 2022. The first one is Fire Merit Commission. It's a 4-year appointment. The current board member has retired, doesn't wish to be reappointed. This is one of our commission appointments that have to fulfill a spot that are either a Democrat or Republican, depending on the makeup of the board. So this appointment has to be a Democrat. And
For the fire merit.
For the Fire Merit Commission,
Sorry.
yeah. I would recommend Allison Zoll. Yeah, she is terrific, and I was able to serve with the Fire Merit Commission. It was a great experience, and I think she'll do a great job, and it's nice to have young people come in. Gary served for a long time, and he did a great job as well, and they have a lot of responsibilities, but I think Allison will bring a lot of energy and enthusiasm to it.
Second.
So I do have a motion and a second. I agree. First of all, thank you to Gary Travis for doing a fantastic job. I had the opportunity to speak to Allison. She seems very excited to be a part of this board, and as we reminded her, we all love firefighters, but we have to balance the city, as I see Chief Snyder there, that it's not whatever the firefighters want, so it's not always easy, but she will be an asset to that board, and like you said, new, young, so we're excited. So with that, further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 3-0.
And the second appointment you have is to Newport Landing Redevelopment Corporation. It's a 1-year appointment. Carol Ficus is a councilwoman, and her ward takes in a great deal of that area, and so she has been your appointment in the past. And she is willing to continue to serve it's not a board or corporation that meets very often. Last year, I believe they only met once. And so
I would make a motion that we reappoint Carol Ficus for the
Second.
position.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Thank you, Annette.
thank you very much.
Nick Otis, public safety or public notice of sale of land.
Yes, before you is the notice of sale of land. This is a parcel that the city acquired. It's on Home Street, just off of Pine Lake Avenue, and the hope is to be able to sell or transfer this to LaPorte County Habitat for Humanity, which owns an adjacent parcel. This was acquired through a tax sale from LaPorte County, and unfortunately, there's a statute that allows the county to transfer tax sale properties to nonprofits, but there's not a statute that allows the city to do that directly. So this is I guess the cleanest way to do that. I believe this is an unbuildable lot, at least for an individual family home. I see Nick Minnick shaking his head. I think the idea is that Habitat would put a garage on this for the property that's adjacent to it.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'm going to abstain because I work with
I
Habitat.
will second that. Jess Romine works directly with Habitat for Humanity, so we'll ask her to abstain. Discussion?
Just so you understand, then we have to send notice of this to all the adjacent property owners, and they actually have an opportunity to bid on it as well. So, but this is when we looked at this was hopefully the easiest way to potentially transfer this.
But again, the surrounding area owners would have an opportunity to bid on this.
Correct, yeah, we have to send, if this is approved today, then we send this notice to, I think there's 2 other adjacent property owners.
Is there, on the piece that Habitat currently owns, is there a home there now?
Yes.
There
Yep.
is, okay,
Yep.
I couldn't remember.
Further discussion?
Is that home occupied right now? Or is it still under construction or
I don't know the answer to that. Nick, do you?
I think that one is done.
done?
It's likely, based on the information that I know, they haven't done a build because building costs are so expensive, so it's likely been, or is.
There's a house on it. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
gonna be torn down or repaired. I don't know the answer to that, so. This was, and I don't think Mr. Batchelor's still here, this was something that Mr. Batchelor was working to with Habitat on. Okay.
Great. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0. Ms. Romine abstains. Jen Knoll, retirement letter.
Good morning. I just wanted to read a letter from HR and Legal Assistant Corrine Fitzgerald. She will be retiring in a couple of weeks, so it's going to be a big loss for the city. Corrine is not here in the room physically, but she does watch on Zoom. She's not a big proponent of attention, so we'll keep it short and sweet. Dear Jen, please accept this letter as notification that I will be retiring in December. My last day will be Friday, December 17th, 2021. It was a hard decision as I've loved my job and working for the city. I will truly miss everyone. The bosses I have worked for over the years have been the best bosses anyone could ask for. I will be happy to help in any way I can to make the transition smooth, and I will be always available in the future to help anyone in the city in any way I can. Sincerely, Corrine Fitzgerald. So Corrine, just a couple of notes. Corrine was here when I started back in 2014, and she is a huge asset to the city, and she will be dearly missed. And I think, Nick, did you want to say a couple words?
She's been a huge asset to me when I came on in 2017, just to her historical knowledge of everything in the city. She makes a lot of things happen behind the scenes. I think a lot of people don't know that goes on. Pretty much interacts with every new hire that we have in the city. So it'll be disappointing to lose her, but wish her good luck. She has children all over the world, correct? I believe she has
Yes, her daughter's in Japan.
in Japan. So hopefully she'll get to do a little more traveling.
That's awesome.
Well, we have all different types of personalities from the mayor's office down, and she is one that was just nice to see her come to work and do her job every single day, and there was never an issue, so she will be definitely a loss. Do I have a motion to approve the resignation?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0, and we wish her the best.
Thank you.
Go ahead, job descriptions?
Yeah, just have 2 job descriptions asking for your approval on. These are 2 new positions that were in the salary ordinance for 2021 and into 2022. We have a GIS technician, which will be a shared position between water and wastewater. And then also an MS4 coordinator, which will be under wastewater. These have been reviewed by Jerry, Tim and Nick. Tim and Nick didn't have many comments, so I'm assuming that they were good with the job descriptions as written.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Discussion. The hiring process for each, I assume the 3 of them and yourself will be involved?
Yes.
And this was all budgeted for 2022, their salaries?
It was, yeah, it's actually budgeted for 2021, so this year, so we could hire as soon as this year if needed.
Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Exciting news here, independent contractor agreement.
Yes, so I don't have the independent contractor agreement to read. However, we are excited to bring on board Craig Phillips as Director of Community Development and Planning. He is here with us today. Craig, if you would stand for us. He brings over 20 years of experience in planning. He's previously worked for the City of Michigan City, the City of Valparaiso, City of Elkhart. So I think he's going to be a tremendous asset to the city and to the team moving forward.
And Nick Minnick, before we bring Craig up under the heat lamp, would you like to mention or any additional?
Yeah, no, we're very, very excited. We've been working hard to try and keep planning and engineering moving forward, and you know, we've had some, you know, ups and downs, and I think we're ebbs and flows, and we're trying to make sure that we have a great team that can work together to just move projects forward, and I think Craig's going to be a really key part in that. So we've got a really big 2022, and having somebody like Craig on board is going to help us be successful, I'm sure.
Well, when people talk about the growth in Valparaiso, they talked about the growth in Michigan City. Craig was directly involved in both of those areas. So, Craig, if you don't mind, come forward. Congratulations, welcome, and share your thoughts.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. I appreciate the opportunity to have the chance to work with the city of LaPorte in this capacity. I've had a great opportunity in the past, as you've heard, to work with a couple of communities that have been very vibrant and have seen a lot of change in positive ways. And I'm looking forward to hopefully serving the community of LaPorte in the same way and working with the mayor's office and other department heads to do great things for LaPorte going forward. So very excited for this opportunity and look forward to working with all of you.
Questions? Welcome.
This is only a 1-month contract, is that right?
I'll let Jen know.
Sorry.
It's because of the budgeting, we can't bring it, I think he'll be an employee after.
Yeah, so we want to make sure that we are able to compensate Mr. Phillips based on his experience and expertise. In order to do so, we wanted to have an independent contractor agreement that would allow us to do that sooner rather than later, and then come February 1st, we'll transition him to a city employee.
Oh, okay, fantastic. I guess I didn't catch that.
Yeah, sorry. It's a little bit awkward, right?
That's great. No, well, welcome.
Oh, thank you.
We've got high expectations, so he knows the pressure he's under already, so we've made that clear. But we're excited about to see the growth in LaPorte, so you'll be an important part of that. I do have a motion and a second.
Did we make a motion? I don't think so.
I don't think
I'll
we
make
did.
a motion.
A second.
I have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Welcome.
Thank you.
Sarah Nimitz, grant agreement with DNR.
Hey,
good morning. Before you, you have a grant agreement between the City of LaPorte and the DNR Community and Urban Forestry Program. This is a grant for $10,000 with a $10,000 match, allowing us to plant between 60 and 75 trees in 2022 over 2 seasonal plantings, one in the spring and one in the fall. We're just requesting approval to have this signed electronically by Nick Minnick rather than on paper. And then, we'll start the process of purchasing the trees.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second discussion. We appreciate this grant. How much have you generated in grants over this past year?
13 million.
That's it?
Impressive.
Sarah's done a fantastic job as a part of Nick's team, and great job as she moves forward with sustainability. As a sustainability engineer, you'll see more to come, so.
Definitely.
Where are the majority of the trees going?
Yeah, so this grant has an emphasis on equity, and so we focused on the lower income neighborhoods and one specific census tract. In the grant agreement are all of the planting locations, the addresses, and the species to be planted there, with an emphasis on native species. They have pretty high standards, the DNR Forestry Department specifically, for the trees we plant. So while it's maybe not the most cost-effective tree purchasing, it's going to be the most long-term installation. So they're mostly going, by Grove Street, where there was some clearings during sidewalk replacement, where we saw the greatest need on our land cover analysis.
Great.
So, and then
awesome.
we're holding some back for places they've been requested. So
And
we've
as
got a
well-
lot of plantings in the future.
As well, Grove Street, what's had its issues with drug-related vandalism issues, changing the landscape literally of that area, so I'm
These trees will
excited
have the
there.
most impact there.
Absolutely.
So assuming from kind of one of the last times you were here, you're talking about the diversity of the canopy and different, so probably not as many maples, right? Probably
Correct.
looking at
No
some different.
maples at all.
Okay, that's what I figured.
No pear trees at all. The species requirements through DNR are that they're all native and 2.5-inch caliber on average. So they'll establish well. They don't require a lot of maintenance, and we have the means to water them after we plant them if we need to. So I think they'll do well. I'm excited.
Awesome.
That's
Thank
great.
you.
All those in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Thank you, Sarah. Jerry Jackson, letter of intent to purchase property, 705 A Street.
I distributed kind of a bullet list of information about the 705 A Street purchase. This was, an agreement was made between the city and the homeowner in 2019 to buy this property. It's adjacent to our woolen mill planned storm basin. The houses were built in a poor place. That was called Soapy's Ocean because everything flooded over there. The basements fill with groundwater. There isn't proper drainage adjacent to the houses, so the yards flood. And then the sewer system goes from house to house to house through the backyards, through the foundations. It was in altogether really poorly thought out development. I've always believed those houses were built by the woolen mills, not really, I can't really prove that, but I think that's the case. So, in order to allow us to develop the woolen mill storm basin and to get rid of some drainage issues and to avoid building a new sanitary sewer system to serve these houses, we made a decision back in probably 18 to buy the 6 houses. And we approached the homeowners, and at that time we had 3 ready sellers. 2 we completed and demoed the houses. This third one, the homeowner, Woodcocks, wants to build a new house, and of course that got us right into COVID, so the prices went through the roof and slowed her way down, and that's why I'm finally bringing this back to the board today. They've got the house, it's not finished, but they can live in it, and so they're ready to close and make this happen. They've agreed to the price that we agreed to on 2019, which was the average of appraisals. That's advantageous to the city. Prices have only gone up since then. So I'd recommend that the the board allow me to go ahead and complete the purchase and to sign closing documents at the closing.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second discussion?
Are we gonna update the closing date since it's all dated from 2019? Like,
Yeah.
when do we plan to close on this?
I put in the, give me 1 second here. I think by the end of January is the goal.
Are there more houses that need to be purchased, or is that the last one?
There are 6 originally, this will be the third. The storm basin is gonna serve the letters and numbers area from First Street down to 10th and kind of over to I Street. This is a long-term project, and we can't really start putting stormwater into the Woolen Mills area till we have an outlet, and that's planned to be part of the Indiana Avenue project, which is 2025. So this is all kind of preparing, getting things going. So we haven't, we've made offers on the houses, and those who accepted, we've purchased. The other ones, we've just kept people aware, if you want to sell your house, please come see us. So we're not pursuing them like full bore, but when they're ready, we'll get them.
So once, so as we get closer to 2025, if the remaining homeowners aren't interested in selling, will that hold up this project as far as like the storm basin in that area?
There are potentially ways we could work around it, but that was planned for the pre-treatment area where the water would be first, sediment would be trapped and trash before it goes into the basin. So the plan is to use that area for the storm basin, and it may hold it up, but I mean, we've got a number of hurdles to get through. That outlet is probably won't even be done till 2026, 2027 by the time Indiana's done. So, yes, if we have homeowners who aren't interested in selling, it could hold it up, but that's
But aren't
up
they
their ways.
experiencing the flooded basements and the issue? Like, it seems like there'd be a lot of incentive to want to get out of that home.
Absolutely, and I was kind of surprised we didn't have more willing sellers. One of them had just bought and was in a situation where it wasn't financially advantageous to sell again right away. And one of the folks have been there a very long time, and I think they want to stay. So, yeah, I think it would be better for the homeowners if they sold, but it hasn't.
Sure.
Yep.
It's not always a business decision.
Exactly.
Got some time to work on a plan B too,
Yep.
right? So.
Yep.
I mean, worst case scenario, we could always go through eminent domain. I mean, that's kind of the last, I think Jerry purposely didn't say that, but I'll go ahead and say it. I mean.
And that's the last thing we want to do.
Absolutely, but you know, the city just did the land swap with the school corporation for the transportation facility land, so I think it's moving in the right direction to get this project done for Jerry. So asking for approval of the letter of intent, but also the purchase agreement that was part of this, and also just as a note, so we don't have this issue in the future, I put in this document for the purchase agreement that Jerry Jackson can execute all of the necessary documents for closing. We had an issue where we had to come back to I think you guys or city council, and we didn't have that with the mayor, so that's part of this as well.
And the budget for this comes from?
Stormwater.
Okay.
We know Stormwater has the money. So I do have a motion and a second. Further discussion? All those in favor state by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you.
Nick Minnick.
First item I have is request for payment, Chessie Trail Phase 2 right-of-way parcel 5. We are acquiring 4 parcels as part of the Chessie 2 project. One of those has already been secured. This is a piece of temporary right-of-way on First Street. And essentially, there's a hill there, so in order to grade everything and make it work, we need to purchase temporary right-of-way. This is for LPC Properties LLC in the amount of $1,000, which is kind of the standard rate, which goes through appraisals and everything to get to that rate. But I would ask for approval of this in this amount $1,000 for LPC Properties for temporary right-of-way for Chessie Trail Phase 2.
Do we have an agreement?
Yes.
Okay, we don't have it in our packet, right?
Yeah.
That's not.
Sorry, it's It's a big file, that's why I didn't want.
Okay.
So do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second discussion.
So temporary right-of-way
Yeah.
to complete, okay.
Yep,
How long, what is temporary, how long is?
till completion of construction.
Okay.
Which we estimate being,
Ideally, the end of 2022. Landscape and things like that could go into 2023, but the trail should be open by the end of 2022.
all those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 3-0.
The next item I have is requests to advertise for public offer. We have several properties that we'd like to start moving forward with offering to the public and developers for potential residential opportunities here in the city. The big one being Tibma Bakery, obviously, 404 McCollum Street. We also have a property at 524 Allen Street, which is a really nice large parcel. Could be a great addition to some infill residential, nice single-family home opportunity. And then also, we are finalizing, I don't believe we've closed yet, but on the property at 18th and A, with school swap, the city is maintaining the, or getting the frontage on 18th Street, and we would like to see some residential development there. So there's still a couple hurdles to get over in order to put the public offer in the paper, but we're very close, and we wanted to make sure that we made the request, and then hopefully we can get it advertised before the next Board of Works meeting to be opened in January, so we can start seeing some good development here in the city with residential.
So, Mr. Otis, if I could, just to confirm, because we are advertising the 18th Street property, which was from the school swap, is it legal or okay for Mr. Kosher to vote on that? even though
Correct, he's not agreeing to, it's not part of the school anymore, so it's part of the city. So he's good voting on any of it at this point.
So do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
So that the 18th and 8th, that's that the corner lot right there with like, I think it's got like one Christmas tree in the middle.
Yeah, it does.
So, well, no, so 18th and A, there's a lot and then a home, and it's everything between that home, the next home, the next home, and the next one. So it's essentially all of the frontage on 18th Street, kind of the whole width of that parcel minus the lots, the two lots that are
Okay, gotcha.
already have
All
homes
right.
on.
And I'd also like to say for that homeowner that's been caring for that property, that small extension to their home, to allow them to continue to do that.
Yeah, we're working that into the request for proposals. Essentially, it doesn't make sense for us to do two offers, do it, parcel that one piece out, do two offers. But we're encouraging anybody who's interested in moving this development forward to work with that homeowner so they can acquire a piece of property that kind of fits very well with their parcel. Make sure that it could get a little difficult to try and put another home right up next to the existing home, so this makes a lot of sense.
And we'll have a chance to approve that
Correct,
for,
correct, yeah.
so, as well as I won't call it a public garden on the other side, but a garden will have to be addressed as well.
Correct.
Okay, so I mean, we've talked about housing, we've needed land. 404 McCollum, which is the Tibma Bakery, it's been a year and a half since we've demolished that property, now available for what we see. Nick, if you could confirm, I mean, affordable housing,
Yeah.
Are there some requirements that come along with this?
Yeah, the goal is affordable housing. We do have some requirements that come along with it because we use community development block grant funding for the demolition. We're working through some of those to see exactly what is required. But the intent would be affordable housing. We're looking at single family owner occupied is the goal. There was a meeting with the neighbors, and the neighborhood would like to see that, and we think that that's probably the highest and best use for that area too. So we're working towards finding a developer that would be interested in that, and then also, I mean, the RFP process will hopefully do that, but just making sure that there are people interested in affordable housing in that area, kind of good quality single family homes.
And you say this will go out for public, your goal is?
My goal is within the next 2 weeks, so that that's why I wanted to do it at this Board of Works meeting. If it's not within the next 2 weeks, it will definitely be by the end of the year, but the goal is within the next 2 weeks.
I have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Request to award police station transfer switch.
In talking to Clerk Treasurer, we have the opportunity to kind of move forward with a project that we had hoped would be handled a little differently. When we bid the police station generator replacement, at the time, we thought the transfer switch was going to be a pretty easy project that the police department could kind of handle on their own as necessary. But the transfer switch ended up being quite a bit more of a challenge than expected and quite a bit larger cost. So we did get 2 quotes, one from the contractor that installed the generator, and then one from Marquise Electric, who also proposed on installation of the generator and actually has done quite a bit of work at the police station. So the first quote from H&G was $65,500, and then the quote from Marquise was $58,697. I think some of this is also just the cost of things have gone up quite a bit. I don't think that's necessarily made it kind of double in what we originally thought the price would be. I think there's just more challenges than expected. And again, working with Clerk Treasurer's office, they've kind of identified some funds that if we're able to move forward with this, then we can get that entire project wrapped up. So
That's why we have a clerk treasurer for life.
We want the generator to work at full function there. That's why we bought it, so.
yeah.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? And this has been an issue for years that's now being addressed.
Critically important, obviously. So is the full amount, or do we not know yet?
Well, we will have the full amount. It's the end of the year, so I'm going to take whatever I can from the police budget, and then we've got some other funds in some other areas that we'll be able to do it.
Further discussion?
Do those have to be reappropriated and then voted on? No, okay.
All those in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Anything else, Mr. Minnick?
That's all I had today. Thank you.
Anything else, like a fence? Anything you'd like to update us on a fence around the Don George property?
Oh, I don't want to know.
I see a fence around the Don George property because we said that would be demolished this year.
Yeah, so our contractor, Schaffner, has started to work towards demolition. So the fence is up. They've been working inside the building. A lot of times, they'll clear everything of value out before the real big demolition happens. So that project is moving. The intent is that the building is down by the end of the year.
Awesome.
Thank you. Unfinished business. Nick Otis, Gravity Diagnostics.
Yep, we had tabled this, I guess pulled it from the last Board of Works meeting. This is for a short-term lease right now between the city and Gravity Diagnostics through the end of this year to provide COVID testing at the train depot building previously where LEAP and the Chamber of Commerce were located. So this goes through the end of this year, and then we hope to have them in a different location beginning January 1st. They've been a good partner to work with, and I think part of, as you mentioned last night at the city council meeting, Mayor, one of the things that the city's doing to help stop the spread of COVID. So there is, for this term, there is no lease payment, and then beginning in January, I'll have a new lease for you. It'll be $1,000 a month.
Well, first of all, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. I'd like to state that I do have it looks to be a hopeful update that the Norfolk Southern Railroad might be working, as we've talked to Representative Jim Pressel, and he's been very helpful, that they will extend the 3 months at the depot at no charge my opinion looks to be that as long as the city's not receiving any credit for it or involved in it, they will extend that based on our relationship that we have with Norfolk Southern right now. You know, as long, and we'll agree to that middle school type of request, and as long as we don't take credit for it, which
What-
seems to be their biggest concern.
I kind of feel like Tina Turner here in this relationship, so.
So we're excited about that, that 3 months at no charge for the people of our community can be extended. So we should have a final approval later today. So I do have a motion and a second. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Other business, welcome today to Karen Bernacki Day, as we approved last evening. Thank you to Karen at Family Advocates and all her work to make sure those children in need had a voice in our community. The great work, 31 years, is amazing. So we want to acknowledge that. And then number 2, Toys for Tots. We have about a week left, and I know each of you have wallets in your pocket or somewhere. So if you can't provide toys, make sure you stop in Annette Leffler's office over the next week and donate to make sure we provide a good Christmas for those that may be in need. So that's good news. And then lastly, as we talk about other business and housing together, and since Mr. Cook said he had nothing to report, I guess he can at least update us briefly on the city council meeting last night regarding housing and Flaherty and Collins.
Thank you, Mayor. At the city council meeting last night, we requested their signature on a letter of support for the Flaherty and Collins project. They are, as you all know, project's been very successful. They're nearing completion of their first phase, and that has went so well that they are proposing to the city a second phase, potentially, of the project. Now, we're in the absolute infancy stage of that analysis, and so the next steps will be that the redevelopment commission will work with Flaherty and Collins to see if we have an actual project there. But as part of that, redevelopment tax credits are kind of an essential piece to make it financially feasible. The developer is planning to apply for those credits, and so the council issued a letter of support in that endeavor. So we'll be hopeful that they receive the credits from the IEDC, and that we'll be able to consider, through our redevelopment commission, potentially a second phase of that project.
It's awesome.
So just a quick question. I know I've had some folks who have even asked me about the number of units that are there in the current phase, and are there, I think I remember hearing that there are already folks who have put down deposits for units, or where?
So there's about double the waiting list is about double the number of units that are going to be available.
Okay.
So there's significant competition for those, and I would, from personal experience, one of the gentlemen in my office is, I would say, very, very hopeful and nervous about getting one of these first units. So there's a lot of people in that boat. I believe maybe 2 weeks ago, they released the, I guess you'd call it like the virtual tours or the specifics on each of the units. So that process is going on as we speak, and those will turn into leases in the very near future. Okay. That's what's, I mean, quite obviously, that's what's driving, this amazing demand is what's driving.
Did you hear sort of the, well, who's gonna rent these, that kind of thing, and so I wanted to ask, so thank you.
I think that, unfortunately, that's a talking point of people who maybe aren't as favorable on the project. The reality versus that perception is completely opposite. There have been a tremendous number of people, the majority of those people here locally right now, that are interested in this. So
that's excellent.
I think I'll believe more in the reality and not worry so much about what some negative perception might be from others.
How many units are there?
I think it's 196 is the exact number. And then potentially a second phase would be about another 146 units.
So it's fair to say that the interest and demand for those is such that they're looking at doubling the project?
Before they've even completed the first project.
Thank you.
They look beautiful.
Well, thank you.
Well, and as well, 701 Maple, we should be seeing some model units here in the next week, and that's amazing, and there'll be, what, 36 affordable between 550 and 8 less than 1,000 apartments there.
Correct, and then you have the Lowe's building, which is also 12 units there, and Dudley Byler and Harbor and Lake, we got to tour the new units that I know a number of you were there, the new units that they have coming to the market just down the road. I think we're seeing a kind of robust growth in residential options in the city.
And they're all very well done. I got to see Dudley Baylor's and gorgeous.
Well, to the mayor's point, I think the commitment to a much higher quality or a standard is kind of what's most exciting from my perspective.
And Mr. Phillips, we're looking for more. So-
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. Great. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So
So
moved.
moved.
I have a-
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. We are adjourned. Have a great day, everybody.